Good morning, good morning. A little early here. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Dean RS, how are you doing? Kevin, good afternoon, Liverpool. Today's what, Judgment Day? Terminator 2? Terminator 3, Judgment Day? All right. You can't see me? Good. There's a reason I don't show my face. It would break the camera. Consider yourselves lucky. What's up, Zaz? How you doing? Oh, well, let's go take a look at the charts and get to work. Another fine mess we've gotten ourselves into in these markets. Welcome to everyone who's joining us on YouTube. Well, you can see the chart. You can't see me. That would be pretty. That would be a neat trick since I don't have a webcam. Welcome to all the folks in our room, and also welcome to everyone who's joining us on YouTube as we try and chop our way through these markets and make everybody a living while managing their risk. So let's get to it. Step one, we take a look at our inventory situation for the session. Okay. Our overnight inventory is short. Okay. Thanks, Jam. It's 88% short. What does that mean? In simple terms, it means that 88% of the trading of the session. Now, we talk about inventory in different time frames, right? So, the inventory of the session is 88% short, which means 88% of the trading volume and time is underneath the previous day's 5 p.m. close. Hey Josh, how you doing? Okay. Once again, liquidation. We've had moves up to correct inventory, and when we move up to correct inventory, they nail us with product, right? The selling comes in. So in any market where you have liquidation for a number of days, if not weeks of liquidation, right? You have liquidation here, right? You have liquidation, and then you have a move up, and then liquidation again. The market's trying to find that bottom. And of course, today is Judgment Day, Liberation Day, right? Whatever day it is, the market's going to try and find that bottom. Whether it does today, I'm not sure. So instead of trying to figure out where the bottom's going to be, let's figure out how we trade this while the market looks for a bottom. Does that make sense? Right? Pretend you're waiting for a turkey to come out of the oven. You're going to have to snack on something else. You can't just go and eat raw turkey. I don't know why I'm using that. It just popped into my head. Right? You have to find some other way to eat. And that way is, we do consider the signals in the overnight. I'll get to that. So overnight inventory is short. If you look at the daily candle wax chart, 56.92 is where the sellers engage over the last couple of sessions. All right? Yesterday they stopped selling at 56.04. I would say that yesterday's low could get tested. Okay? It wouldn't be crazy if we went and tested yesterday's low. All right? I was looking for 56.23 to hold earlier on. It did not. Okay? The other thing is this profile has what we call single prints. Single prints are these little areas here. They're a market profile term that tells us that there is trapped long supply in these areas. So that means when the market, if the market gets back up there, expect selling. Okay? So right now we are negotiating 56.23. Let's see if we open above or below 56.23. Since inventory is short, we're looking for some movement up to correct it. So if inventory is short, the normal course of business is to correct inventory higher at the open. If the market fails to correct inventory higher, that means that we have sellers who are desperate to unload product and are lowering price. That's why price can't go higher, because the sellers keep lowering it. Why? Because they're competing. So when sellers compete, price goes down. When buyers compete, price goes up. Very simple. So let's go take a look. Right? There's no need to overcomplicate it. It's hard enough trying to execute this crazy thing without overcomplicating your analysis. If your analysis looks like a 3 or 4 page doctoral thesis, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to trade that efficiently. Now, Pupa, you've been with us for a couple of days, and you've asked that question a couple of times. So let's see. I'm going to ask you, how do you know where the buyers or sellers are competing? What have I been telling you to watch? No, not the wicks. I never use that word. No. It's okay. Don't worry about it. All right. I'm just, no, not the DOM. Dear God, don't look at the DOM. No. Just look at the offer. Okay? Right? Exactly. Watch the offer. When the offer is moving higher, that means sellers have seen buyers and they can raise price. If the offer is moving lower, right? Yeah, the DOM is like a fishing lure, right? Right? Everybody wants to use the DOM because they want to really be smart, and it looks really cool, right? But if I could show you a way to do something in a simple manner, Corey, that keeps you from getting into trouble, that traders have been using for thousands of years, that actually makes you money, is that something that you would be interested in? What does that mean, Elsie? In due time, Padawan. Is that like pad thai? I'm lost. Keep asking. Star Wars. Like from 1977? Okay. I might have to go watch that again. All right. I mean, I saw it in 1977. I haven't seen it since, so. Correction includes, well, it could, Assad, if we have the customers to do it, right? So, Corey, you're interested in that. Let me show you, and this won't cost you a dime. And that's why people don't trust it, because I'm not charging people for it, is that red line. When that red line is moving lower, it means the product's on sale. Oh, Padawan is an apprentice. Oh, okay. All right. Thing looks like a gremlin, Elsie. The new one's. I just remember the first one. Okay. Don't worry, my pop culture is a little behind. You can watch the candles if you want. Listen, I'm just trying to make it easy for you guys, but if you want to overcomplicate it and talk about wicks and twicks and bwicks and doms and whips and chains and all of that stuff, feel free, right? Do whatever you want. I think watching a straight line is kind of simple, right? Stay with us, Poopa, and follow along, okay? The offer is everything. The offer sets the price according to what you guys call order flow, what I call customers. So if a lot of customers are coming in, the offer will move higher to take advantage of that to make money. If there are no customers coming in, the offer will move lower to capture the buying that is there. Does that make sense? Think about when you go to a store and there's 1,000 TVs and nobody wants to buy them. They're going to put them on sale, right? You don't have to watch the bid. Just watch the ask, right? Don't watch the bid. Just watch the ask. The bid is the suckers. The ask is the smart money. Okay? Doesn't make sense to you just because you don't know what's going on yet. Once you do, it'll be so obvious, you'll give yourself a good shot in the head. Right? It's okay, Corey. If you're feeling like that, you might want to. Let me just ask you a quick question. Do you drink a lot of coffee? Maybe cut down on the caffeine. Right? Even a scalp, right? Even a scalp is a business decision. Okay? So you can use the hourly. The longer the length of the candle, like an hour candle or 4-hour candle, the more stops will be there. I use 30-minute candles because market profile gives you 30-minute candles. That's why. You can use 15 minutes. You can use whatever you want. Here we use 1 minute candles, and these do act like stops. There'll be sellers here, right? Hey, Joe, how's life on the other side, Joe? New quarter? You guys all ready to rock and roll? Manage those billions responsibly? We're lucky to have folks like Joe in the room who are in the industry. Just sitting on hands waiting for the fireworks. See, that's responsible. Stewards of capital, right? And let me use that word, fiduciary responsibility, right? Yeah, you know what? I've seen that in the rhythmic data that there is no red or green line. There's no spread. I don't know. That's your data provider. I can't speak to that. If I were you, I'd change data providers. But hey, that's just me. I like simplicity. And now I have a feeling I am short biased. I'm going to say I'm short biased. So I say it out loud, right? I like to announce my bias out loud in case my bias is wrong. Then I'm aware of it. Otherwise, I will just trade in the wrong direction. And that's not a good thing. Could be. The study in Sierra is current bid-ask lines. Very simple. Alrighty, let's get to work and see where's the open sticker. Well, we still have 14 minutes till the open. Jumping ahead. Etienne. Salut Etienne, ça va? Ça roule. Do I use settlement? Yes, the 5 p.m. close. Everything I do is really, really simple. Everything I do is really simple. How do you know if the correction is fake, meaning it's rather an uptrend day than correction because I get trapped? Well, that's why I have these levels. Now, inventory is short. VWAP's up at 47. So the point of control for the overnight, where the hell is it? It's still up here, isn't it? No, where is it? Yeah, our overnight point of control is up at 66. I'd like to see that drop down, right? What is the point of control? It is 2,400 contracts. So as soon as we print over 2,400 contracts somewhere here, that value area will drop. The cost basis will drop. Right? Yeah, Mike, I don't chart the micro. I trade the micro off the mini chart. So for example, if I'm short biased and the market comes down and cannot take out the lower stops and rotates back up, then I know we don't have enough supply to take out that stop. How do I feed the family by trading micros? Oh, you have to read my... Obviously, Han, you haven't read what I've written about my process. I always start trading the micro and to test and see whether my brain is working. If my brain is not working, I don't trade the mini. If everything's working, then I go and I trade the mini. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not a profitable trader, it doesn't matter if you're trading micros, minis, maxis, whatever the hell you're trading, it doesn't matter. When you're learning how to trade, use the micro. The micro is a great learning tool. It's a great testing tool. It's also a great tool for testing order flow to see whether or not you are in line with the business of the market that day. I don't know how long you've been with us, Han, but go take a look. If you look at the JJ training session, the analysis and levels, the very first thing, there's a document there, and it's like written out so a kid could understand it. There you go. So now that's just me. I don't like losing a lot of money, right? So when I start my trading day, I'll use the micro. If I'm on the ball, I'll switch to the mini. If I take 2 or 3 stop outs in a row, I'll take a little break, come back. Does that make sense, hon? So I don't use the micro to make money. I use the micro to test myself and the market, right? When I'm on Zoom with you guys or when I'm on YouTube with you, I'll generally trade the micro because my attention is split. And frankly, I don't feel like losing $200 or $300 while I'm answering somebody's question, right? So it's a great instrument. When I want to make money, I shut off Discord, I shut off my phone, right? There are no distractions, and I trade. Right. All right. Let's see some opening trades. I will look at higher time frame. We just did, didn't we? Here's our higher time frame. Overnight inventory is short. So if we take out the overnight low, right? If we blast out that overnight low on the open, you will look down here. Yeah, a lot of people get sucked into the. You're right, Assad. A lot of people get sucked into the thing, oh, it's just a micro, but they're not making any money anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter, right? I say learn how to do things without losing too much money while you're learning, right? So if we come down and take out that overnight low, look for 56.01 and 3/4 and yesterday's low. If that gets taken out, we're looking for 55.84, which is a big level for me, right? Alrighty. Let's see if we can move that point of control lower. Yeah, a lot of people, when they start trading, what they don't realize is it's a business. And everybody just thinks that they're automatically going to start making money. And I realize that. I mean, why do something if you're not going to be successful at it? But you're just not going to be able to sit down and start making money. Hey, you got your first payout? Nice work, Travis. Well done, brother. That is great. That is great. Love to see it. You've really worked hard. You've put in the work. And you know, you still haven't done a lot of one-on-ones with me. So that's really well done. Which means you've actually listened to what I've said in the room. I have to say thank you for listening. Love to see it. Beautiful. A couple of $100 a day keeps the doctor away. I don't have a bias right now, other than short. Right? If we break it and it comes back up, see, this is the thing with bias. I have a huge problem with bias. So I will say that I'm short biased, and if the market shows me I'm wrong, then I can flip and trade to the long side. Right? Right now the market's telling me my bias is kind of right. Right? And we try to help everybody who trades differently, but the basic principles of trading are all the same. Right? You're trading order flow, which you guys love that word order flow. That's customers coming into a market. And then you're going short or long, right? You can trade whatever you want to trade. We like the ES. We like learning the business using one market so you understand that market well. We like to learn to do one thing well instead of doing 4 or 5 things badly. Right? We try and develop what we're trying to do is consistency. We're trying to develop consistently good business habits. The principles you can use in stock, right? You can use pretty much on anything, right? So if you look at, Nvidia here, they did a nice look below and fail of 117, beautiful rotation up to 130, right? Tesla did the same thing back here, right? Look below and fail of 228.27, rotation all the way up to 261. So you can use you can use this execution mechanism on any product that has inventory and customers and order flow coming in. We just like the micro because we can teach in a environment that's a little safer, right? Because we don't want, I remember when I started trading, there was this guy who was a teacher and he said it's okay to lose $300 to $500 a day. Well, I'm like, after 10 days, you've blown up 5 grand. I'm like, you got a money tree in your backyard? It's really not for me, right? When you learn how to do something, naturally, you're not going to be profitable right away. So try and limit your losses. So when you actually do know what you're doing, you have some cash to trade with. And that's why we really love these funded trader programs, right? We really love, these trader funding programs because not only do they let you trade with other people's money, OPM, but they also enforce discipline. I have never met anyone who is undisciplined who makes money in this business. Okay, we've got a minute to the open. do you guys know when the Judgment Day stuff comes out? Is there a specific time that a news release will be issued? I'm just curious. Oh, it's after the close? Okay. Thank you. Steve. There's that Long Island sense of humor. You know, when you say stuff like that, Steve, you sound like the dad from Everybody Loves Raymond. Okay, here we go. If you're unsure what to do, let the market open and warm up for a little while, okay? You don't have to. This is not Ricky Bobby, right? You know, if you ain't first, you're last. You don't. That doesn't matter in this business, right? If you test long, there's going to be a seller around 16. See? If we lose that A low, be careful going long, okay? One thing that you should do, ladies and gentlemen, in this market, if you're wrong, admit it quickly, okay? So we have sellers here. If you're unsure how to trade an open, don't trade it. Let the market open up and wait for your setup. Wait for how you do business. If you're scalp long here, sell into the 20s. There you go. Okay. Looking for 23. 23 used to be support. Now is it resistance? Let's see. Thin volume, right, Raj? If we get over this area here, if we can clear the 26s, it'll be good for the longs, right? Now remember, there's going to be supply here. Those single prints from the way down. Remember to sell into strength because inventory is short, but all of the supply is above us. 23 long, selling the 25s. And I am flat. Couple of points. If we clear the 26s, next area of interest where there's going to be selling is right here. If we clear the 28s, you're looking for 32. We're going into the single prints. Think of them as a cupboard where there's supply. Hey, Elliot, where you been? Long time no see. Good to see you. See how we had the seller at 32? Right? No surprise. If we can clean that out, if the sellers can see buyers, they'll lift their offers up to this 36 area. Right? There we go. Right? So this is, oh, the new job. How's it going? This is the inventory correction that we're talking about. Right? And it's fueled by people who are short. Like I was short biased, and had I shorted 14, 15, 16, I'd be racing to cover 19, and then, you miss it at 19. You try to buy it back at 20, it's at 24. That's how these markets move like this off the open, right? Everybody's expecting it to just drop, but they don't remember that the inventory is short and you're going to have to deal with old business first. So old business first. Next target, 34 and a half. There it is, to the tick. Getting up over 34. There's going to be a bit of selling here, right? If we can climb up over 34. See, right there, right? Cleaned out the other set of single prints, right? We ran out of supply on the way up. Good to know. And there is the bottom of yesterday's cost basis, value area low. Oh, you will. Now, do we stay above 34 or do we backfill back down to 29? If we stay above 34, next target is 39 and a half. There it is. And then if we tag 39 and a half and get over it, 41 and change is where VWAP is. Okay. So that caught a lot of people. Remember I kept saying I'm short biased? Well, the market told me to go long. So even though I thought it was going to go lower, the market kind of tapped me on the shoulder and went, psst, 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 psst. Don't do that. Don't short. Nice counter inventory move off the open. Just use the levels, folks, right? Use the levels. As the market goes up, sell into the market if you are long. Right? There's 49 and a half. Next target is 54 and a half. As we take the upper stops, it'll create buying. Oh, there's some single prints here. Sorry about that. I should have marked those off. Little bit of supply. Six fairly decent green candles, eh? That's short covering off the open. That is a normal market reaction when inventory is short, right? Ah, look at the point of control down here. I saw that. I didn't see that, right? Go back up, distribute. So we are still inside yesterday's range, right? There's the overnight. There's yesterday's range, right? And now we're back in the cost basis of yesterday. So let's see if we stay in that cost basis. So the inventory, the really short-term inventory, is underneath 34. And we're taking this and we're going to distribute it up here. Well done, Curry. Well done. It has to do with inventory, Algo. If inventory is short, I look for longs. If inventory is long, I look for shorts. Right? Even though I was short biased, inventory was short, which was telling me, JJ, you got to smarten up. Look for those responsive longs. It's all inventory, right? And then what you guys call order flow, right? See, we're running out of supply, so the market's going higher and they're willing to pay more. Remember toilet paper in COVID, right? People paying $5 for a roll of toilet paper. It's the same thing. Remember, folks, that's why we call it a market. That's why it's the futures market, stock market, currency market, bond market, as opposed to the stock hot tub. It's a market. Point of control moved up. Good distribution. Remember I showed you the point of control was down at the bottom of the opening range? Right? It was down here, and now it's shifted up. That means that's good distribution. That means we're making good sales. Remember, folks, this is a sales chart. It shows you the sales, the accumulation and distribution of the inventory of the ES futures contract. Boy, that was a mouthful. Now, we're starting to run out of buyers, right? People want a little bit of a deal. So watch that offer. Let's see if we get under 47. Right? I'm looking for a test of VWAP at that 42 and change. Here we go. We'll just kind of drop it in, nice and slow. So if you're short 52, 51 against the tops of those candles, looking for a cover at VWAP, right? Looking for a cover here. You might want to front run it a little bit. You know, Assad, it sounds confusing. Just keep it simple, right? If you've got something for sale and you see a bunch of people lining up to buy, you're going to raise price, right? That's all it is. You can go long off the backfill, but it's not an A+ setup. If you're going long off the backfill, where's your risk? So my business idea is to go long when the market is on sale. I would like to wait until the offer starts moving higher to show that buyers have been found. Like right there, you see? You can do it. You got to be fast, and it's not an A+ setup. So if you were going long and you were going to go long, like say 45, you'd use the bottom of those candles, because if it goes underneath the bottom of those candles, there's no point in you being long. and you know that there's a seller at 48. So how fast are you? Are you a fast trader? It's not a stupid trade to go long the backfill. But you have to make sure that they're done backfilling. Make sense? So if you can't figure out whether you should take a trade or not, right? If it's not within your A plus setup, it's probably best to leave it alone, right? Because then you're just hacking away trying to find trades, right? But if you're a fast trader and you understand how execution works and you're good at it, there is opportunity, but you just want to talk your way through the trade. Okay? Talk your way through the trade. See if it makes sense. You know, it's like a business idea. Say it out loud, right? If it sounds ridiculous, it probably is. Looking for 54 and a half. All right. Still, we have a seller at around right here. Sellers are right there before 54. Let's see if we can clean them out. Let's see what happens in the next candle. Ooh. Yep, clean them out. Now, let's see if we can hold the top of that red line there. And if we stay above 54, look for 59 and a half. Right? So if you're long 55, right, your stop's probably going to be around 54, 53 half, and you're going to be selling into this 58. On days like this, you want to front run the levels, right, just to make sure you get paid, right? Don't get sleepy, you know. Be quick. If you're not a quick trader, practice being quick using the sim, so you get your keystrokes, so you understand and get it, you know, get that muscle memory. Because trading is still a physical act. And until they put that neural link in your head, right? So if this is let's see if this is a look above and fail of 56, 54. No, not quite yet. Not quite yet. I'm looking to see maybe a little responsive short. Short 52 and a bit. Yeah, and I covered at 51 and a quarter. And I had to take the 51 and a half offer on the other one. Not the greatest trade. Got one left. And I covered that at 51 and a quarter. Not the greatest trades. I'm a little slow. I use market profile and I do use volume profile, but I don't trade off of it. What's going on in the room over here, guys? The YouTubers are asking lots of questions. You guys are very quiet. What's shaking out there? Oh, still a seller at 56. It's choppy around 54, isn't it? There we go. Little look below 54 and a half, fail. But sell into that strength, folks. Sell into that strength. Nice trade, Jam. Nice trade. Yeah, 50 points in 20 minutes, eh? You have to, that's why you have to admit you're wrong quick. You know, if you were short 22 and the thing started offering 20, 23, 24, 25 and started printing, offer print, ooh boy, admit you're wrong quick. We have news at 10? Thanks, Lear. Hey, Leslie, how you doing? Sorry I didn't see you. Hope you got some good Cuban coffee. Okay. I'm really looking for a look above and fail of 54 and a half, but the chart's not agreeing with me, so I'll just leave that alone. Not fancy? Okay. All right. We're distributing here between 54 and 59. If that price holds steady, it'll bring buyers in. There you go. They're the buyers. Next set of stops is at 61 and a half. If we take those out, look for the 63 and a half level to trade. That overnight pocket never moved down. So we trapped longs, then we trapped shorts. The rotations are big in this market. You know, the ranges are big, the rotations are big. So if you look at this, basically we're doing this rotation in this box. Right? So you draw a box here, and we're just rotating inventory back and forth while we're waiting for the news. Right? Just very big rotations because the ranges are much bigger these days. There we go. Now let's see if we sell. Right? Is this the look below and look above and fail that I'm looking for? Not yet. Let's see. We'll give it till the next candle. And if you are shorting this 55, I'd say 55 is your out. Put some bids down. Short 52, covering 51. Just really scalping. That, see, we lose that seller at 52, you scratch the trade. But have your bids in, right? So 52 covering, you got to put the bids in. Otherwise, if you don't have your bids in, it'll go down, hit bids, and then flip up, right? No, there's a lot of speculative money in the markets, Christian, right? Yeah, Erica's notes. If you're thinking about the one-on-one coaching, the notes that Erica does are invaluable because she's an she's a professional. She actually teaches people how to teach, and she's been invaluable, right? So there's that look above and fail of 54 and a half, right? As long as the offer stays under that red line there, you've got sellers. But remember, there's VWAP is down here, and they're going to front run VWAP on a day like this. And remember, news is coming soon, so just be careful. Don't overtrade. Yeah, exactly. He'll pop up sooner or later. Aubrey's good at those inventory correction trades. Folks on YouTube, you can ask questions too. Otherwise, you get people hijacking the chat. Right? Feel free to ask questions. Let's see. If we stay offered under 50, look for 48, 47. I want to get some questions from people that we don't usually hear from. What books should you read about technical analysis? I can't help you there. Uh, they're good ones. Jack Schwager wrote a really good one from what I understand. I haven't read it. Um, I don't know. The red line tells you whether the sellers have to compete, right? Oh, Brian Shannon's book. Yes. Forgot Brian, right? That's a good book. Uh, yeah. My contracts, when we roll over, I use the continuous contract back adjusted volume based rollover. Hey, Wilson. How are things in Toronto? Haven't been there in a long time. We're still in A period. Man, this is a long half hour. Oof. I'll just let the news hit now. There's a seller at 54 and 3/4, but they're not aggressive. So I really don't feel like shorting it just yet. Don't feel like going long because the seller's at 54 and 3/4. Let's see if we can clean them out. Yes, I am Wilson. I don't live there now, but that's where I grew up. Okay, let's see what this big news is. What is the news? Yeah, in the trading room we have access to all videos, teaching. I'm in there all the time talking to people. Give it a shot for 7 days, right? There we go, looking for 59 and a half. On the YouTube stream, I can't really spend that much time with individual people, and I also give preference. If somebody in the room has a problem or, you know, needs help, I'll go into in depth, right? They're all mute today, so there's not a lot they're asking, right? Yeah, I'm visiting Liverpool right now. Yeah. Looking to see if we can take out that A high. If we do, that's going to blow some stops, and we'll look for 64 or 63, and there it is, 63 and change. That overnight point of control, they're up here at 67. We have not had a significant correction to this upward move yet. So keep that in mind. Accepting over 64 and a half, target 69 and a half. I think we've got the shorts trapped a little bit. Get out of here. You're in Liverpool? It's a great town. I like it here. Nice people. I might be getting ambitious, drawing 4 times profit. Let's see. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of selling at that close. It was about 80% short, Travis. I've got these levels. I'll throw these in the room for you guys. I did these up on a longer term. This is some 5-minute candle wax levels. Just testing them out. And there was a constant seller at that 56.71 for hours in the overnight. So let's see if they're still there. Still there. Yeah, it's 60 to 70% algo. That's according to Dalton and Stadelmeyer. I haven't never run the numbers. Exactly, Elsie. Right? They see buyers. Hell, I'd sell at 72. But if you undercut me at 71, Elsie, I'll hit the 70s and 69 so fast it'll make your head spin. Right? That's what we know. No, I was not trained by Jim Dalton. I did read his stuff, and we've had Jim Dalton in the trading room. We've had him on our podcast. I love Jim. He's he's the godfather of profile. What I've done is I've taken profile, and what I like to do is simplify it for the regular person who's not a floor trader, and just teach the concepts. So if you're shorting off of that 71, just be careful here because there are some responsive bids at 67. Here we go. There we go. There's a nice short. That's the one we wanted, right? Take them back. Take them back quick. Take them back quick, right? Cover into weakness. Don't be afraid to cover into weakness. Leave some runners if you want. There seems to be a seller at 66. So if it gets over 66, be careful. Oh, you live near the Liverpool Stadium? Yeah, I'm just down at the docks. Hey Aubrey, how you doing? Go Everton. Oh no, don't get into a soccer fight in the room, okay, guys? This is for trading. No soccer hooligans. And then of course we have Raj, who's the Manchester dude. Even though he doesn't live in Manchester. Best British movie? I don't know. I like Snatch, and I also like Monty Python. So hey, on the backfill with market profile, there should be a little buying here. Let's see if that holds. I'm just curious how many people are short underneath the A high, right? Because if they see sellers, they'll just drop their bids. But if they see no supply, they'll move their bids over 62. Okay, there's sellers. That's good. Oh, Fish Called Wanda. That was a great film. I love that film. That's right, Sully. You can make a decent. You can make some decent scratch trading micros. Don't let the small size fool you. And there's nothing wrong if you can make $360 a day, a couple of $100 a day, right? And the biggest thing is when you take losses, if you can lose 20 or 30 a day and then walk away from it, it's a great instrument. These micro contracts in whatever, oil and NQ, ES, they're the best thing for retail traders. There's 54 and a half. Now, remember we had quite a bit of responsive buying in this 49 to 54 area. Let's see if we hold that. Rotation. Here's that rotation lower. Ah, yeah, the long Good Friday. That's another good one. Sorry, we're being distracted here. So, folks, in the program, we're going to have a class today at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm around. Little look below and fail at 54.5, but I think there's going to be sellers at 57. Yeah. Now, this is a bit of an unknown area. If you're still short and we can take out the bottom of that candle, look for some covering at VWAP here at the 46 level. Hey, Chris. No. The 101 class, I'm going to do that. I'll give you guys some notice because I think I'll live stream that on YouTube. I don't know. I'll ask Steve. That'll be tomorrow. How much important do I put in VWAP? Like if I was short, I'd be covering before VWAP. The room's 39. The Microefutures room? We have a 7-day free trial right now. We charge $39 a month. Come check it out, right? Try it for 7 days, right? There's no obligation. And while you're in the room, talk to me. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, we can chat. But we have a lot of resources in the room, and not just for ES, but we have an NQ room, we have a oil room, microefutures.com. And I'm there all the time, right? I'm always working, right? From about 2 in the morning New York time till about 5 or 6 p.m. New York time. I'm always in front of the screens. So if you have questions, if you need help, we're always around. And the mentoring is lifetime. So unlike most mentoring programs, when you do our mentoring course, you get lifetime support, which means lifetime one-on-ones. So we charge you once and that's it. There's no other charges. So, and I will basically haunt you until you're profitable. Yeah, I'm in the UK right now. Everybody else was covering there. We should cover too, right? Pay yourself. Especially if you were short like 63, 62, right? And it drops down into the 49s. That's a beautiful trade, right? It's a beautiful trade. The thing, how we like to do business is we like to make our money and then only trade if our setup presents itself, right? And then also we really, really very strict about, say you make, like just for an example, a round number, say you make $1,000 and you lose 100. Well, you should start, right? That little warning light should go off, right? You lose 200, you should stop trading. Right? There's always the next day, right? Capital preservation is the most important thing. A lot of people think that, oh, you should have an edge and press it. But when you're first learning how to trade and you're learning how to be consistent, you don't really have the skill to press your edge. Do you look at overnight not being taken out because the market only went through it by one tick? Two ticks. Is a look below and fail. So that was kind of a long signal, right? And I don't really like that weak hands thing. My thing is they didn't have to sell it underneath the overnight low, right? It's okay. One tick, two ticks. What's a tick between friends, right? The fact is they didn't have to sell it underneath the overnight low. When we took out that overnight low, what I look at that is, this is a good question. Is it barbed wire smile? Okay. Um, and welcome to the room. When we took out that overnight low, that's like when you open the door of a store and there's a Black Friday sale and people come rushing in. Sometimes you can take out that low and then all the inventory dumps out. So when it just did two ticks and then pop back up, that's when they start knocking over the security guard and trying to grab those cheap TVs, right? Right now, I don't know. How many active people, Steve? Maybe Steve can answer that. He's my partner and he handles all the hard stuff. We have Microfutures. We have Equities. Let me send an at everyone message. Oh, it doesn't say. 400. There's 64 and a half. LC will tell me. There's 232 online right now. So it's a decent sized room, but it's not a huge, huge room. Right. And it's not so big that, you'll get ignored. Thanks, Gherkin. Do you study sectors pre-market? No, I don't. I'm really focused on the ES, but I will look at individual stocks. So we have 600 members in all our rooms, if that helps. And we've been at it for 5 years now. I'm curious, in 11 minutes, the next half hour period's going to open, and I wonder if we're going to have single prints to the upside. What I'm looking at is that the high of A period, where we took it here, right? The old value area low to value area high on an 80-point day. That would be something, LC. Definitely. Just like the old days. Do I have an opinion on the first hour of RTH initial balance thesis? No, I do not. No. I really, Edmund, I really like um, I really like to have the least amount of information in my head banging around when I'm trading. I want to find the bid and go long off of it. If I'm short, that's a place where I can cover. When I know where the sellers are, that's a place where I can look to get short. Just really simple, you know? I know people have like open this and drive, opening range drive, opening this, that. It's just too much for me to memorize, right? It's actually not that bad down here on the docks. I mean, compared to London, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I like downtown. Where are they buying? Where are they selling? How do we clip in and get out, right, Travis? There's a lot of good theories. There's a lot of good work written, not only about initial balances and thesis, but I found that none of them have actually helped me make money. And I don't mean to sound rude, you know, but when you're executing, you really need to have a repeatable setup that you can train yourself and execute without overthinking. LC has stats on that. We have people who have stats on that stuff, right? Well, for me, it can never be too simple. Then again, I've been in the business for 33 years, right? You know, it's like the guy in the movie says, explain it to me like I'm a child or a golden retriever. If you can't explain it in a simple manner, it means you don't understand it. Well, if the 1 minute time frame is too fast, get faster. The reason I use the 1 minute time frame is to force people to learn how to think quickly. Because as this market progresses over the next period of time, you are not going to be able to be slow. The reason I want you to be quick is not to take trades quickly, but to cut risk quickly. So, money, if you come into our room and spend some time, we'll teach you how to trade using a 1 minute chart. And after you do, right, you'll be surprised. All it is you just getting used to it. If it's too fast for you, it's just because you just need to get used to it. And if you use it in Globex, in the overnight session, look above and fail of 64, targeting 59.5, by the way. If you use it in the overnight session, it's a lot slower. And it's very clear. Right? It's just like any skill. We want you, when you're in a bad trade, we want you to get out of that trade so quick. It'd be like if you're in a plane and the pilot came on the speaker and said, "Hey folks, we're going to hit some turbulence. I kind of really don't know what I'm doing. It's going to be moving kind of fast. I'm going to grab the manual for this plane and wish me luck." How much confidence would you have in that pilot? But when something happens, if that person just handles their business, that's a professional, right? And we want to train you so, yeah, just go to microefutures.com. And let me just do a cut and paste here. One sec. Get somebody to cut and paste. There you go. Thank you for posting that. Looks like we'll have some single prints, eh, Elsie? Now, what does that mean? That means when the next period opens in 4 minutes, it's going to have a short position. Remember I kept saying where that A high is? Right? Single prints, they'll probably fill, right? It's a rotational day. We have actually no idea what's going to happen news-wise, right? See how we come, every time we come down here to this 60 area, we find a bid, right? We rotate down, find a bid, and move up. Rotate down, find a bid, and move up. That's why people who were shorting were using the high of A as a stop. That's why every time we get down to that A high, there's responsive buying. That's the mechanics. I'll use the single prints in the overnight, but we filled them. Right? We had single prints on the way down there and there and there, but they got filled. And if you rewind this, you'll see when they got filled, I took them off. Why are the 5 and 20 considered more significant? I have no clue. I don't use moving averages. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I've just never done the work. So it's unfortunately not a question I can answer. And one thing about me is if I don't know the answer to the question, I won't try and BS you. Yeah, that's a look above and fail. Barbed wire. Definitely. Yeah, we'll have some singles, Zazu. Quick trade, Barb. That was nice. That was a fast short. Shorting the backfill. Well, we've only had 2 periods, so kind of hard to go for a P shape just yet. We'll see. I like trading on the edges of the zones, Ivan. No, I don't. I don't adjust my cost basis zones. If they're working, there's no need to change them. Save we've get like on a Fed day, if we move up 30 or 40 points and then go sideways, then I'll redo a cost basis, a distribution or accumulation cost basis. But as long as the levels are working, there's no need to adjust or change anything. Right? Once you've tested the levels and you know that they're working, right? It's I do the same thing every day, so you have continuity. Yeah, P shape generally doesn't have singles, but hard to tell what's going to happen. We're still only an hour into the market. you know. So there's your short position, 70 to 61. That should backfill a little bit. So that's pretty much it for me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want, you can. There's our website, microefutures.com. I'm vwaptrader1. I'm JJ. Nice for you to drop by and be with us. Good questions. I'm supposed to say, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now I sound like an 18-year-old. There we go. Thanks, everyone. Or you should do something like, uh, yeah, I'm a true streamer now, right? Somebody called me an influencer last week. That was something else. I thought that was hilarious. We'll do something like if I could get like 100,000 subscribers or something like that, then I'll I don't know, do something. Maybe show my face or something like that, but that would break the webcam. So that's not a good idea. Thanks, everyone. Drop by and say hi. If you have questions, reach out. I'm on X, vwaptrader1. Have a great morning. Trade safe out there. Yeah, I could advertise. What is that? What is that stuff everybody eats now? Creatine. There we go. Okay, be safe out there. I'm not pretty enough to be an influencer. And I'm too old. Bye for now, everyone. Have a great morning.